Hey guys, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How you guys doing today? Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving 2017 and are having a good holiday season. I finally have recovered for the end of our fall tackle season and kind of doing a review autopsy of our 8U recreational tackle team here in North Texas, and thought I would just do a quick outline. And as I was doing it, was just throwing it into PowerPoint here since it has a good outline package, and thought I'd throw it up online in YouTube videos so you could see what I was doing here. So let's go through kind of a summary of how I thought our season went. We play in KYA. It's a North Texas recreational youth tackle league. It's very competitive. A lot of select coaches have started coaching at KYA because it's basically a couple of fields. It's here in Keller. It's very simple and pretty strict birth certificate, age, weight requirement limitations here. So not a whole lot of roster cheating going on at the rec level here. Our team was new to the 8U age division. Coach Witt and I have been coaching in KYA since 2009. We had taken a senior team all the way up through. This was our second teams that we went through from 8U to 12U, and now this is our third time coming back down. So we came back down. We're new to the division, to this age group, not new to the league, but we didn't know a lot of the players or had been really paying attention to it. We had told the league that we would go into an 8U or a 9U division, really wherever they needed us to go, and they popped us down into the 8U division. There were three teams that were veteran teams that's going to be in this age divisions out of 6. One was the Super Bowl champion from last fall. Big time running back. Another team had really good backfield and kept a lot of players around. So one was a Super Bowl champ with the top running back in the age division, really a man-child compared to the other players. And then the other top team was a solid team with 6 returning players, mainly their running backs and linebackers, and they were very, very good. And those two teams wound up being in the Super Bowl, and we just lost each of those teams basically by a touchdown to the one team, the Super Bowl champ. We actually lost one, and we beat them going into the playoffs, and I was pretty happy about that win. It was a crazy upset. We ended the season as the third place team. We had a 6-3 record with 5 shutouts. We had the top-ranked defense once the season was over, only allowing 68 points for the entire season, with a third-ranked offense with 151 points in the season. The top Steeler team was 189. So between the top 3 teams, I think we were 151, the next one was 168, and then the top team was 189. So we were all scoring pretty well with the top 3 teams. The next team, I think they had scored 60 points, so there was a huge drop off there. Just so the start of the season, how we went through our player evals and the draft. You know, we're a rec league, so the league has kids sign up. We do a drill day that's really quick and simple. We do some evals from that, and then we have a draft that's a snake draft that's similar to an NFL draft. You can freeze 3 to 6 players depending on if you're a new coach or a returning coach, and then you draft players from the league pool. We developed our top 10 draft ranks. We actually ranked the whole 100 or something kids. But our top 10 draft ranks, after looking back at it this morning, we were about 60% accurate on our top 10 rankings, which I guess that's okay. We didn't know a lot of kids in the league or had film on them because a lot of these guys played Mite, and they actually had a 2-year kind of Bantam thing, which is the 8U age group there with 7 and 8 versus 5-6 for Mite. So we didn't know a lot of the kids, but I guess 60% is okay. I definitely want to be better for the spring and next fall. So looking at our actual top 10 picks, we were pretty sketchy. Our first pick was definitely below average. We had hoped he would turn out to be a tailback. That did not occur. Really almost couldn't play running back at all. Second pick is a tier 1 pick. It's our best pick. Then we got a coach's referral. We knew who this kid is, why we picked him second. I'm hitting myself in the head now trying to figure that out. And the reason I'm going through this, if you coaches are wondering, so you can tell, I've been coaching since '94, 20-plus tackle seasons. I'm still not the best at this, so this kind of gives you an idea where you're at. Our third and fourth pick, kind of average picks, nothing too spectacular. I think they were two mid-tier running back, linebacker kind of kids. Our fifth and sixth pick, seventh pick, definitely below average. They were kind of lineman-y picks, and they could have been better, I would say. I was happy with them, but they could have been better. Eighth pick was definitely average pick, another lineman pick, pretty good pick there. Ninth and 10th pick. The ninth pick was an above-average player based on where we got him in the ninth round there. 10th was definitely a below average, didn't really work out. So as you can see that out of 10 picks, we really kind of weren't that great. But getting that tier 1 running back at the second pick was really made our schedule and season much better. We did get lucky with a trade. At the end of a draft, you get a trade. If somebody wants to trade, you get one trade. Per team can ask somebody to trade. So we did get a trade off of that, which was a great trade. Our number one lineman actually was that trade. And then we got very lucky in the hat, which are kids that didn't go through the evaluation drill day, and they just signed up, and we got a pretty good hat pick there who wound up being our quarterback and our second best running back at scoring touchdowns. I guess you could say this is not too unusual since we were new to the age group. I mean, certainly I'd have liked to have done better, but we should have better results going forward. Let's see. So defensively, we were 6-3 with 5 shutouts. So it was pretty. I think defensively we were pretty solid as a team. I think that's what kept us in most games, to be honest. We played better defensively as a team. And overall, I would say the defense was above average. We had a couple of kids that were really, really good, and which really helped us on defense. They were big-time hitters, had good nose for the football. And about the third or fourth game, the whole team came together and understood the system and what we were doing as a defense and really came through. I would say the defensive line was below average. We never did get the penetration that we would have liked out of the 2 D tackles and D guards, but definitely for what we're used to, I thought our D tackles could have been a little bit better, but our D ends were way above average, especially one of them. And the other was really a D tackle that we moved him into a D end, and he played great side D end for his size and his speed, and got to hand it to him there for doing that. Cornerbacks, about the third game, we had one that turned into a tier 1 cornerback on defense, which was really happy about that. Our weak side corner was definitely weak and average. Could do a little bit, but was hoping for some more there on the backside. But of course, this is rec football, and you get kind of what you're getting there. Free safety, I think he might have been of average to above average. He was actually one of the running backs, and by the last 3 games, he definitely was above average and had a nose for the football and started making some big plays. Linebackers. Got lucky on a linebacker, definitely on one of them. He was the best hitter on the team. We nicknamed him Mad Dog. Great nose for the football, very quick, made tons and tons of tackles with the top D end. And that was a big find. The other linebacker was the hat pick. Had a great nose for the football. Was a little bit timid hitting, but always made a good hit. So the Wolfpack could get a hold of the tackle and make gang tackles there. So that worked out really well. We ran stuff out of my 6'2" multi-8 youth football defense playbook. We ran the Y tackle 6'2" and the 6'3" hybrid quite a bit. We also ran a little bit of the 70 umbrella. And against the spread running team, we kind of come up with this custom scheme, a couple of weird blitzes to handle some wide stuff that people are doing. And the one thing I would say is the defensive guys really got it. They understood what was going on. I was pretty proud of the team. You know, I always do Ice Cream Thursdays. Thursdays are our last practice for the game. Ice Cream Sandwich Thursdays. If we get shutouts. And we did almost every Thursday because we were holding teams to no one scored more than 18 points on us, even the top teams. And I was pretty happy with that. And so we were having a lot of Ice Cream Thursdays. Like I said, I think I would have liked more out of the D-line and the cornerbacks. But overall, as a team, being the top defense in the league, I mean, you got to give it to us. We really played well as a team. And that goes to a lot of the young men and what they got and the concepts that I was trying to teach there. I did have 2 or 3 players. I think 3 players made 80% of the tackles. But those were one of the defensive ends, which outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and then the free safety who was also kind of playing a linebacker guy too. So that's not too surprising there because you're basically all the linebackers were making all the tackles, and that's what we had going on there. Tackle, you know, the one thing on defense that we struggled with at first and on special teams too, on kickoffs, was our tackling. And we had trouble in the first game. We had too many arm tackles. Nobody wanted to make any contact. I was doing a lot of scheme at first and trying to install a lot of my 6'2" multi-8 defense, and then I dropped that and we went to basically the 6'3" hybrid. Didn't do a lot for a couple of games and focused on fundamentals. I remember I was doing a presentation to coaches and started saying, stop doing all the scheme development and unless you can tackle. Make sure you can tackle before you do that. So I had to eat my words, and we went right back to some fundamental tackling. Now, we were doing the Seahawk tackling quite a bit, and that was working out pretty good, but we were getting too many kids arm tackling and stuff. And so in the Seahawk tackling, they have, you know, the chest, or the pectoral tackle here at the chest. And so I don't know what happened. I just told the kids, hey, let's chest bump. Just chest bump each other. We got them real close to each other. Just shoulder chest bump each other like you scored a touchdown and try to knock each other off their feet. And so we were doing that, just chest bumping. We weren't wrapping up with tackles. We were just chest bumping and really trying to kind of hit the running back or the other player to stop them with our chest. And so I started doing that. I called it bango tackling, where you would just chest bump the guy or shoulder bump him in his shoulder, and you try to stop the guy. And we would do these maybe 1 yard to 2 yards apart. We would do that for about 2 or 3 reps. And then once we did that, we would start wrapping up, but we would bango and then wrap. That way we were hitting and slowing the running back and driving them back and wrap, so we just wouldn't arm tackle. Because, you know, sometimes if you stick your arm tackle and you don't hit your chest, the running back just runs to your arms. So we started talking to the kids about putting your body in front of the running back's body and hitting them so they slow down and you drive them back. You can't do that with your arms. And a light came on for me and the players. And so we started doing this bango tackling where we make sure that our body is hitting, our shoulder, chest is hitting the running back before our arms, and then we wrap, because we must stop the running back with our body, and not just arms. And the reason we had to do this is that the two top teams had really big running backs, and they were not going to be arm tackled. So that started working out. And we started doing this in every practice. We did tackling drills. And we would, the first part of the practice, we would be in two lines. Everybody's got a partner. We would do these slow-mo kind of tackling things, like 4 reps each. And then we would move over to angle tackle and do angle tackle. And we would do that for 30 minutes religiously. I dropped the baseball, football. I dropped almost everything, and we were just really angle tackling and these 2-line fundamental tackles and just working on that. And it paid off big time. Just focused on that, focused on being hitters, focused on tackling with our bodies, not our arm. And that was a big, big, big help. And the one reason why we were the top defense once all the games were played in the league. Offensively, we were average at best. You know, it was really frustrating to both Coach Witt and myself that we really never got in a rhythm, and we had trouble installing a lot of our playbook. That could have been a factor of us being at a higher level and coming back down to 8U. But, yeah, this team was really having a tough time learning the playbook, and we're just running a numbering system that's pretty basic, but we had 2 or 3 of the backs out of 5 that could not remember plays, and they didn't know that 26 minute they were the 2 back going the 6 hole. Just could never get that. One of the backs in games, we would call a fullback dive, and the tailback would run and grab the ball because he thought he was in there and he was getting the ball. So it was kind of like that. So we really had to back off a lot of the stuff that we normally do. We were running much of the stuff from the Power Wing Beast offense playbook. That's my playbook. We ran a bunch of angle because Coach Witt likes the eye. Of course, we ran the Beast tight and some wide single wing. We ran some pie, a little bit of pie, which is a power eye variant. And we tried to put in this dragon, which is a kind of a wildcat eye thing that's similar to a Beast Jumbo deal. And we really couldn't run dragon, so we really sat in angle and Beast and some pie quite a bit. And pie was only at the end, just because the running backs were they were really having trouble just right and left, I will say. So it was frustrating in that respect, because we've normally had a little bit sharper backs and or a couple more of them, but we really only had one back that understood really the playbook, and so we had to really dial this back. Although the linemen, once we got, and we'll talk about that in a minute, the linemen were definitely much more able to move in and out of things than I think our backs were. So I think the running backs, it was a function of only one of the running backs of the 5 really were experienced. The other ones were rookies, so they were kind of deer in headlights for a while. A quarterback who we picked up in the hat pick, which was great. This was great. We were lucky and really helped us out. He was a good competitor, really tried hard, committed. Parents are great. He did have trouble with the snaps, which really cost us some. It cost us, some series sometimes, because he would just fumble the steps. He couldn't keep his hands together, but he also helped us out a lot of times by getting out wide and sweeps. So it was a back and forth there. The top running back pick that we did pick, number 1, that we were hoping would be our tailback, he could just never remember his plays, and he wound up just becoming really a blocking wingback. And only at the end of the season did he start running the ball from wingback. But that really hurt. That really hurt the offensive team, because we expected more from him, and he was having real trouble understanding the offensive whole back numbering system. We tried to even simplify it more, but it just didn't work out. Hopefully his next season and we get him back, it will snap, because by the end of the season he was ready to go. The fullback was average, maybe a little bit above average for blocking and remembering his plays, but he did fumble quite a bit on occasion, and so it was really hard to trust him to run the ball even with short yardage, and we started working more and more on fumble drills, but got good blocking out of him, which was great. Now, our beast back, which is our number 2 pick, was a beast, and he became one of the top running backs in the age division and really ran the beast offense really well, and was a heck of a blocker, too. When any of the backs ran the ball, he would block 2 or 3 guys. So awesome job there, and really, really got us through the season. I think the O-line for us might have been one of the top in this age group. We were definitely above average as a team again. Of course, I'd have liked to have another big offensive tackle. But we were able to play together as a group really well and meshed really well, and that was really good. Our offense finished 3rd in total points, just behind the 2 teams that had come back and had frozen 6 players. We didn't freeze any players because we were new, and we drafted basically from scratch, putting a team together. Blocking, we did do blocking every practice and blocking fundamentals. We did a blocking box. We did this every practice, which was either a close, like line of scrimmage, or we put them 1 yard away and have them hit each other. I called it Night of the Hoochie-Catawa, which is a word I came up with from a U2 song. They thought Hoochie-Catawa was so funny. I've used this word, this Night of Hoochie-Catawa, so many times. But all they want to do is play Night of the Hoochie-Catawa. You know, I know a lot of guys laugh at these funny words and things that I make up, but the players love this stuff, and the goofy names for everything, players remember that stuff easier. So if you want to get kids to remember drills or plays or whatever, give them a funny name, and they seem to remember it. So they always wanted to do this Night of the Hoochie-Catawa box. So we would do that, and basically it's a blocking box you set up. They block each other. They try to block each other out of the box. And the top 3 guys that have knocked 3 guys out each will then have a competition at the end to be the Night of Hoochie-Catawa, and they get extra water and stuff like that. And a sticker. Helmet stickers are great motivation, so don't forget those. That's another thing that we do quite a bit, which really motivates everybody. I give a lot of tackling helmet stickers away. On blocking, I have like 8 or 10 different blocking calls. These guys were having trouble with all that. And so we just stayed in jaw block, which is an inside track block, which is sort of like God. It's a simpler version of gap on down. So that worked out for us. We definitely were good at wedge blocking. And I highly recommend youth football teams get good at wedge blocking. We had a big center that worked out great. Goop is gap on outside pass. That was our pass block call, so everybody knew they were to stay inside and not go out and pass block. We tried to get those guys to remember the rules, gap on down and gap on linebacker, defender. That was really just a little bit too much for this group, so I delayed that. Some of them got it, some of them did it, and I just decided to stick with jaw, wedge, and goop, and it worked out. I did teach them how to crab block, and that worked out good. And we would have a cannon call for blitzes over the center, where the the 2 guards in the center would crab block in there, and basically, 4 or 5 guys could not come over that. And that worked out good. They were pretty good with that. I did have to call that from the sideline myself to do that, so that was there. But blocking overall is, I think, blocking fundamentals and tackling fundamentals helped us out tremendously this season, because we had to have that. You have to overcoach sometimes, and I tell you, Coach Witt and I both had to overcoach. Special teams, we got lucky here. We just got good at it. Our kickoff was above average. We did not have a great kicker, but he was accurate at 10 to 15 yards. He would put it where we needed it to go. Gunners were very good. We averaged about 1 onside kick per game recovery, and in one game we had 4 onside kick recoveries. So we got really good at it, and the kicker got really good at putting it where he wanted it, so heads up to him. We had trouble in our first game, and the undefeated team, the actual Super Bowl champ, beat us on a kick return by one of their linemen, and we got that worked out after that. But yeah, we would have beat the Super Bowl team twice if not for a kickoff return in the first by a lineman in the first game. So that kind of hurt us there and put us in a wrong bracket. So we were 1 or 2 plays from being in the Super Bowl in the right bracket, but that's another story and one reason it took me so long to do this video. Kick return, we were really nothing special here. We didn't have any big returns. We just recovered the ball, and we may have had 3 or 4 onside kicks that we gave up. But we, focused on special teams a little bit at the first of the season, got it installed, and then we would go over special teams about 20 minutes before games. In conclusion, very happy with the season overall. I mean, of course, I'd like to win the Super Bowl. Coach Witt and I are so used to being in the Super Bowls, but getting to where we were, beating the Super Bowl champion at one point during regular season and only losing to them by a weird touchdown in the first game that we played them on a kick return by a lineman. I'll take it. Overall, we could have been there. We did not beat the other team, Panthers. We lost to them twice. They were matched up against us really well and found one weakness in our defense, and they were one of the only ones to find it. What I can say about our season is our last practice that we had was our best practice. We did some great angle tackling, and we did some great Night of the Hoochie Codwell blocking box, and the kids were going crazy over that. And we ran our game simulation and plays really well, walkthroughs. So all of that makes me proudest, as I guess the last practice was our best practice. And I was pretty happy with that. In our last playoff game, too, we were only down by 6 with about 2 minutes left. And we were blitzing and going. Everybody's trying to strip the ball at the last to get that ball back. And I tell you what, the players on defense were trying to do it. We were right down to the last minute in that game. When you blitz, you can live by the sword, die by the sword. We died by the sword on a 4th down play, and they actually scored on that. But I tell you, those players were in it to the last minute trying to get into that Super Bowl. You got to give it to them. Players learned a ton, so that was great. The other thing is that all the parents were pretty happy with the season and how we progressed. A lot of parents came us to the team party and told us, so we were pretty happy with that too. Keeping the parents happy is a big deal, both for our staff and the league. The coaching staff that we got from the dads and the parents that season worked out great too. I know Coach Witt and I are ready for the spring season, so we can finish what we started. So, again, overall, it was a pretty good season. Yes, I'd have loved to have been in the Super Bowl, but we were not. And just football's a game of inches and 1 or 2 plays, and I can look at 1, 2, or 3 plays and say, if we had done this on this play in this particular game, we would have been in the Super Bowl. But just wasn't meant to be. But had a great season, great year, great players. Overall, as a team, we're much better than each of our parts. Coach Witt and I learned a lot going back down to 8U, and I'll be bringing that to you guys over the season of coaching these younger guys and putting all that good stuff in the videos and the books. Hey, again, hope you enjoyed the video. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. Don't forget to pick up my playbooks over at CoachParker.org. They are in print now, so you can get a digital download, or you can actually buy the professionally printed copy of those over at CoachParker.org. Hope you're having a great day. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. Ciao.